there is a theme of sort of persecution and sacrifice in today's show. And I think that my last guest is actually going to be talking about somebody who has suffered just that at the hands of various countries coming together to pursue him. I am delighted to be joined all the way from Australia by John Shipton, who is, of course, an anti-war activist. You're an architect in Sydney. I don't know if you still are, John, but you are, most importantly for today's conversation, Julian Assange's father. Thank you for joining us on today's News Talk, John.
Pleasure to be here, Sonia. Thank you.
This week has been, I as somebody who is not related to Julian, has no dog in the race, and I have found it really quite emotional, the handing down of the judgment this week, the most bizarre judgment. And I'm somebody who is au fait with court judgments, and I could barely make sense of it to begin with. And rather than outright granting his request, which should have happened, which was that Julian wanted to be able to appeal against the extradition to the US, the judges gave this very strange thing of throwing a lifeline to the American authorities that they would then have 3 weeks to come with assurances that they were not going to harm Julian. Oh yeah, we really trust that. And if they couldn't, and then he would be granted the right to appeal against extradition. What were your thoughts when you saw this judgment, John?
Well, I thought the first thought was that it's a riddle wrapped in an enigma, in a mystery, all then after reading the 66 pages, it took me until yesterday, and then realizing today is Good Friday. I admired the wit of the judges washing their hands, as Pontius Pilate did those many years ago, of the problem and putting the problem back onto the United States and Julian Assange. It was Pontius Pilate reborn.
I think, when I heard that you had been confirmed to talk with me today, I immediately said that's symbolic. Good Friday. We're going to be talking about Julian Assange. And I do think that there are parallels to be drawn. And Stella obviously gave a very impassioned speech outside the Royal Courts of Justice. And one of the things that she noted, and she noted many things, including about how this was an attack on journalism. But she said, really, and I'm sure you will agree with this, but the fact is that the judges have allowed politics to enter this now, haven't they? But has it always been the case?
Oh no, it's always been a political persecution and the 3 countries that have involved themselves in this persecution have admitted so. For example, the Swedish people allowed things to, and they had 4 prosecutors and allowed things up to 9 years to fade on time. So they timed out. If I could just add that the Crown Prosecuting Service and the Swedish Prosecuting Authority, it's documented, we have those FOI releases, conspired together to keep Julian in the embassy, to refuse access to a prosecutor to interview Julian on the allegations. And meanwhile, politicians in Parliament made statements that Julian could leave whenever he liked. So, of course, it's been political all the way through. The United Nations Special Rapporteur on Torture made a statement, 26 pages long, that was delivered to the Crown Prosecuting Service, the UK government.